Hello everyone, welcome to another vlog. In today's vlog, we'll be discussing about the economy and the damages that it's facing due to the coronavirus. I have a couple of interesting guests as well to help us understand the situation better. I hope you guys enjoy this video and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. So where is our global economy heading? Due to this coronavirus, we've seen stock markets across the world take a beating. We've seen oil prices literally fall down a cliff. We've seen in the last 1 month, 9.9 million Americans reporting to have lost their jobs. And across the world, we're seeing multiple companies closing down due to this coronavirus and lockdown that the economies are doing. It's a tough time for most governments around the world to weigh their economic loss and the loss of life due to corona. To better understand these concepts and to better understand where our economy in Dubai is heading, I've invited two guests today. The first guest I have is Salman Saleem. Salman is an investment banker. He is one of the directors at one of the leading banks in the UAE. He's worked with multiple regional and international banks and he works in debt capital markets. The second guest I have today is Amit Chopra. Amit Chopra is one of the heads at Refinitiv, which is a subsidiary of Thomson Reuters. And he actually works with a lot of governments and corporates on the Expo 2020. Both of them will help us better understand what's happening in the economy in Dubai and where this coronavirus will lead us and our economy at large. Hello guys. Hello Amit. Hi Salman. How are you guys doing?
How are you, bro?
Hi Farooq. We're good. How are you, Salman?
Good, man. Good. Very good. As good as I can be in this quarantine.
How's this quarantine time treating you guys?
Yes, I'm actually living the dream, Baba. I got a corner office all set up. You know, my drive to work is actually nothing, zero completely. And I can run into the kitchen whenever I want to.
And now you have more time to spend with your wife and kids.
My wife and kids, yeah, till I don't lock them away when I'm working. So, but yes, I'm definitely enjoying the time at home, enjoying the time with family. You know, sometimes slowing things down does make a big difference and changes perspectives.
Anyways, guys, welcome to the vlog. And today I'm going to start off asking you guys a few questions on how this coronavirus is going to impact our economy in Dubai, in the world at large. And we'll start off with Salman. Salman, since you are a banker and you've worked with multiple international and regional banks, so can you shed some light on what's happening in the current economy and what's happening in the global economy at large due to this coronavirus?
Okay, so good question, Farooq. You know, I think this is a question that's on everyone's mind. You know, everyone tries to understand what's going on, and there's been a shutdown in almost every single country around the world. Now, what does the shutdown do? You know, shutdown obviously affects businesses. If you look at the major stock indexes, so for example, the Dow Jones, the S&P, the Nasdaq, the European stock exchanges, they're all down between 15 to 25% just from January to now. So values have dropped. You know, people are sitting at home. Nobody's spending any money. Oil prices have crashed. There's been within the OPEC. There's been some disagreements on supply cuts between the two major producers, and that's led to further decreases in oil price. Oil touched a low of 22. You know, those are levels not seen since 2007. That's 13-14 years ago. So you know, all these things have sort of together come up at the same time and made a perfect storm, as I would like to call it, of what the world is calling a recession. We are headed towards a recession. That's what everyone seems to say. And in my personal opinion, you know, we're at one of those times where, you know, my colleague always put it very nicely that every generation goes through a crisis. You know, our parents went through, you know, for example, the Gulf War or the 2008 financial crisis. For us, it's the COVID-19 crisis. That's what it is.
So do you really think the world is heading towards another depression, another slowdown? And you think, how would you rate this compared to the 2001 dot-com crisis or the 2008-2009 subprime crisis around the world? How would you rate this compared to both of those?
It's very difficult to give you a direct comparison because all three of them were different types of crises. Right? The dot-com crisis and the 2008 crisis were specific to an industry, which sort of led to a decline in values across the board. This crisis is of a different nature and is not something that we've seen ever before. It's a health crisis, and the world has gone through various crises around the world, but there's people always refer to history as a measure of how to react. In this case, there hasn't been a health crisis like this in my memory. I don't know if Amit, in your memory, you've seen something like this, or in our parents' memories. That and it's affecting in my opinion, it's affecting the core resource, which is human beings, people.
Let's come down more towards how this situation affects the common man. And recently we've seen in Dubai, due to the COVID-19, we've seen the delay of major events around the world. We've seen a delay in the Olympics, and now more locally for us, we've seen the delay of the Expo 2020. A lot of people have questions about what the Expo 2020 is. And I know, Amit, you have worked very closely with the Expo 2020 team. So can you summarize what the Expo 2020 means for the people who are watching this video and how it affects the local Dubai population or the common man in Dubai?
Thanks, Farooq. I think this is potentially one of the most talked about subjects in Dubai by far. Whenever you go to meetings or to dinner parties or whatever else, we've been hearing this word Expo 2020, which potentially should now be renamed Expo 2021 and change all its logos and so on and so forth, as one of the major events that's going to attract, and the numbers that were being thrown out, 25 million visitors, and so much revenue that's going to come in, and real estate prices going up. But nobody really understands what the Expo is or what it's supposed to be doing for the economy. A lot of the people have actually sometimes told me that it's a cultural event. Some people tell me that there's going to be a lot of concerts and song and dance and so on and so forth. But essentially what the Expo is an event that happens every 4 years. It's the largest of its kind exhibition where the world, from around every country, about 192 countries, have confirmed their attendance for Expo 2020 in Dubai. Those 192 countries are going to bring the best of the best that they have to offer as an exhibit to the exhibition. Now, these could be companies that are in certain themes specifically. The themes that you have in this expo that were announced were sustainability, opportunity, and mobility. Now, it's very important that these companies actually come prepared and bring in the best of the best. So what happens then? These companies that come in, they're going to be based over here, you need to understand, for 6 months. So say, for example, there's one country that brings in 50 companies of the best, from, I don't know, Pakistan, India, England, wherever else that these companies might come from. They're going to bring with them staff that's going to be based in Dubai for 6 months of that time. Now, why are they coming here to do that? One, they're not only coming here to exhibit and obviously make new deals and trade and so on and so forth, but they're also going to try and recce the region as an area that can lead them for an expansion, like a springboard almost of sorts. I know I'm taking a little bit of time over here, but it's important to understand. So these companies, if 25% of them stay back in Dubai, they start applying for trade licenses. These companies have employees and human capital that Salman was referring to. They bring their families over here. Their families actually rent homes and so on and so forth. The kids go to school. And suddenly the economy starts picking up because of the increase of people that have actually come over here, the increase of business that has happened over here. So this is a prime opportunity for Dubai to showcase itself as a hub for business. And that's always been the intention of the rulers of the country and of all the administrators, to make sure Dubai is a hub for business for the 2 billion people across that Emirates 8-hour circle that it connects. So hence a very, very important event.
Now let's talk about the delay. How do you think this delay is going to affect the common businessman in Dubai? How is it going to affect? I mean, we've had discussions on how it will affect the real estate market. But how will it affect Dubai's economy at large?
Now, that's a very interesting question. So it's affected me personally because I run the events business for my organization. And every event that we thought about in the next 6 months on not only the expo has been postponed, right? 100%. So I'm going to take this into two parts. The first part is the short term. short term is painful. People are going to go through some period of no movement, no business, or they just need to survive and not thrive. They just need to make sure that they really concentrate on surviving this point, and not giving up and not saying this is the end of the world, because this isn't. The human race is going to come out of this. We've come out of everything before. It's just a matter of time. So there's a short term, there's a lot of pain. The long term, as one of the economists have, and many economists have been saying, the demand has not vanished. This isn't 2008 subprime crisis where money went out of the economy and money vanished and the demand vanished and people lost a lot. Right now, the common person like me, yourself, Salman, and anybody else watching this video right now essentially has demand for goods. They have demands that they had before. They want to go out to restaurants. They want to spend money on clothes. They want to go to the cinema. They want to go to their gym. They want to go to their office. They want to buy petrol. But they're not being able to do that. And that's demand delayed. Demand delayed is not the same as demand lost. So when the demand comes back, it comes back really hard. And that's when we'll actually start thriving again. So all I want to say to wrap this up is this is like a pause button. Look at it as a pause in your life, reflect, slow down, come back.
Very interesting. Salman, but coming from a banking perspective, once again, how effective do you think this numbers that we hear, 2.2 trillion from the US, hundreds of billions from other countries as well, do you think this stimulus is enough? Because like we said, these 9.9 million people that have lost their jobs in the US, that effect, that trickle-down effect in the economy, do you think the stimulus package is enough to take care? I mean, can you decipher these numbers, this number of 2.2 trillion for the US? Is this really enough? Analysts are saying that the loss on the economy might be $8.5 billion over the coming months. So do you think this will be enough? Oh, sorry, $8.8 trillion. Do you think this would be enough to take care of that? Or what is your opinion about this?
I go back to my earlier view, right? That as you can, the stimulus is sort of a reaction that people at governments are using because it's previously worked, and this is what they're hoping will work today as well. Yeah, there's been talk of every U.S. citizen who's in the United States receiving a $1,200 to $1,400 check. Every household will receive that. So a married couple will receive $2,400, for example. Now, what this sort of stimulus will do is help people survive. It gives them. Correct. So there's these people who are earning on a monthly basis, and giving them $2,000 or $1,200 or whatever the amount is will help them survive for a month, 2 months, 3 months, while they come up with other options. Do I see this as the end of it all and there's not going to be any further stimulus? No. There's going to be much more that's going to be coming through. This is the beginning. Governments want to see how this plays out. Is this having any effect whatsoever? And if it is, then they're going to continue this.
I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to ask you guys about the real estate market. Amit, I want to ask you, based on all of this recession that's happening and all of these talks about this recession, let it be a periodic recession or a grand recession, however it may turn out to be. How do you think this will affect the real estate prices? I mean, being an investor yourself in the Dubai's real estate market and someone that is very closely linked to the news and the economy and the Expo 2020, what are your views on what the effects will be on the real estate market in Dubai?
So it might be common knowledge, and I don't want to sound patronizing over here, but we need to understand the biggest thing that impacts real estate prices is basically population growth. Population growth is essential to the economy of the UAE because once we have more people, we have more demand. Now that predominantly comes from generation of employment. About 85–90% of the people, the reason they're here in this part of the world is because of employment, be it their own business or be it because they have a job. So essentially, to increase the population, we need to create and have economic activity. Now, real estate is not as short-term as some of the financial market investments that you would make. So you would have to take at least a 5 to 10 to 15, 20-year view on where you're going to actually buy and for what purpose that you're actually buying. And I'm seeing that whatever happens right now in the next 12 months, I can only see opportunity to buy. Because if you have a 15-year outlook, if you have a 20-year outlook in terms of where the UAE is going to be and how many more people are going to be coming to this region, then you will see how big an opportunity it is for any kind of correction to happen in the market. Honestly speaking, I have been waiting for real estate prices to correct for the last 3 or 4 years myself, because there was a rally that happened in the UAE that anybody that was here would know of that lasted till 2008, and people made an absolute killing, and some people just even bought their own home, the house that they want to live in, and they bought it at a price that they could afford it, and they've actually paid off that thing. What we've seen in the market overall is that the demand has not gone up as much, but the supply has really gone up on the real estate side of things. So we need the employment sector to pick up, the labor market to pick up, more people to come to the UAE, the population to grow. And our numbers aren't suggesting that right now. But if you did take a 5, 10, 15-year outlook towards where this country is going to be in terms of demand for coming here, you can see the West. I don't see a lot of people wanting to go there. You can see Europe. I don't see a huge demand generation or employment generation over there. If there are markets that are really doing well, potentially better than the Middle East, is Asia. And if there's anything after Asia that is a land of opportunity, if there's anything after Singapore or whatever else, it's the Middle East. And what's the capital of the Middle East? The capital of the Middle East is Dubai. This is where the headquarters of all the companies. I'm saying from an employment generation perspective. All the multinationals have their headquarters over here, and they're running their Middle Eastern businesses. I run a Middle Eastern business, and I run it from Dubai. So that's my view, and that's my perspective on it. From a banking perspective, Salman, do you think that there is going to be a better loan-to-value ratio that is potentially going to be offered, say, post this whole COVID-19 situation?
We're already seeing, I think we're already seeing an 80-20 shift now. Do you think that's going to act as an enough catalyst?
So from a financial perspective, look, there's two factors to consider. Okay, A, yes, it's the loan to value, and B is what is the interest that you're going to be paying, or the mortgage, the EMI that you're going to be paying on a monthly basis. Okay? And what's happened, what as a consequence of this crisis, interest rates have touched levels close to zero. Yes. The Fed rate is around 0.25, and that's because the dirham is pegged to the dollar. That's sort of the levels we follow. Yeah? So in the medium term, I see the ability for people to buy real estate becoming better. Yeah? More people will be able to afford it. Loan to value is something that is, in my view, it promotes something called speculation. When you have to pay only 20% and you get 80% credit, people think, okay, I'll just buy to flip. That's not always a good thing.
It gets a lot of new buyers also in the market, younger buyers into the market.
Look, yeah, agreed. I think what and the way I look at it is, what is you have to think about what is the objective of buying real estate for you. Is it an investment that you're going to hold for 5, 10, 15 years? Is it a place you're going to live in? Or is it just a quick profit-taking thing? If it's just to flip, I'm not a proponent of taking financing or taking mortgage, and that's sort of been the theme in Dubai. I think that's what this crisis is going to do is bring real interest, real money demand, and real buyers who are looking to establish their bases here, or who are looking to spend the next 10, 15, 20 years. If we recover in the next 3 to 4 months, there's going to be no better time, in my opinion, to get into the market.
And just to sort of add to that as well, Salman, and maybe Farooq, just for your viewers to understand, I do want to make slight differentiation between a foreign demand for UAE property and the local demand. I think the demand is going to come locally, potentially just because of the FX rates and what's happening with the FX. And I don't know if people are actually following that, but the dollar is really appreciating a great deal. That means Dubai is becoming quite expensive for, say, the Indian market or the Pakistani market or even the British market, right? So which means that exporting our property purchases is going to be a lot harder, and real estate brokers potentially should be looking at capturing the local demand, because anybody who already has money in USD or dirhams or whatever else, they're the ones who are going to find this property market to be more valuable or having the sort of value for money than, say, an Indian, Pakistani or somebody outside of the country right now who've seen their currencies devalue. So that's just something to really look out for.
I mean, I do agree with you, Amit, a lot of your points, that I do feel like this is an opportunity For the people and the buyers that have sort of hesitated into entering the market, I do think the 80-20 rule will bring about a new generation of buyers. People that haven't been able to enter the market previously due to the high amount of down payment. And obviously the interest rate obviously affects pretty much the entire market, and I do think that this will act as a huge stimulus. But thank you so much guys for your time and for your insightful information about where the market is heading and how the Dubai economy is being affected due to this slowdown of the coronavirus and the delay of the Expo 2020. Thank you so much guys for your time, and hope to see you guys soon. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation with Amit and Salman. Like I said before, I will try and make informative videos about where our economy is heading and to understand what the future lies for Dubai. If you guys have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.